welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. And before the break and before the call for Al-Asha prayer, Dr. Asmaa, you were telling us that we shouldn't just talk Gaza, but we should talk Palestine, occupied Palestine. And on Thursday, the Minister of Foreign Affairs had a meeting with the EU's Middle East Special Envoy. And indeed, Minister Abdul Ati touched on developments in the West Bank, not just on Gaza. And the top diplomat reiterated Egypt's rejection of the illegal Israeli expansionist moves and the settler attacks against the Palestinian civilians there in the occupied West Bank, and the restrictions and the break-ins around, and the bid to change the historic and legal status quo in the occupied Palestinian territory. So it's very important to talk Palestine, to talk Gaza, West Bank, occupied East Jerusalem, and to highlight all of the Israeli violations and breaches of international law.
This is almost the most important that came in President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's statement after the peace deal, that it is Palestine, not Gaza, and also it is about how to manage the situation in the post-war. It is so important to know who is managing the situation inside Palestine to be able to reach something concrete, because it is not only reaching the peace deal or the memorandum of understanding or whatever. It is most important to have sustainable situation, stability in all Palestine, to know for Palestinian people who is running the situation inside. And it is important also for the world community to decide. I believe the European Union needs to decide on this. And this one of the most important that came in President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's statement, and also in the meeting of Dr. Abdul Ati was a special envoy of the European Union on the Middle East. We need to make it clear for the whole world that the reached peace deal is important, but it is not something that we can depend on only. We need to manage the stage, the post-war stage, what is happening inside in all Palestine, in the West Bank and also in Gaza.
Absolutely, and especially that the Gaza ceasefire deal that was signed in Sharm el-Sheikh has been violated by Israel day in and day out. Again, they are killing Palestinian civilians every day almost, and again they are preventing the agreed upon aid, quantity of aid to reach the Palestinians. And then there are very important issues in US President Donald Trump's plan. We have like the empowerment of the National Palestinian Committee. We have the deployment of the agreed upon international stabilization force. We have issues. We have the post-war reconstruction. Egypt talked a lot about this and said it is ready to help.
Humanitarian aid as well.
Yes.
And all these, all these are.
But we've seen very little progress in that.
This is what I'm telling. We have written everything. What is achieved actually is very few. Egypt is back to the Palestinian case to ensure that we are never back. We are never back to what we agreed on. We need to decide with whom the whole community is going to deal inside Gaza. This is so important to reach the stability of the Palestinian cause, all inside West Bank and also Jerusalem and into Gaza. We need to manage this, and we need to assure the necessity of allowing the humanitarian aid to be as the normal flow agreed on, because what happened during the 100-day and more war is so bad. Egypt is trying all the time to make sure that humanitarian aid is reaching the Palestinian, but what Israel is doing on daily basis is horrible. And also what the settlers are doing inside the West Bank and changing the demographic situation inside Palestine.
It is important to have a partner, a peace partner. But do the Palestinians have a peace partner? I mean, this is an expansionist government, a rightist government, a fascist government, a government whose prime minister is accused of war crimes and wanted by the International Criminal Court, the ICC, and a man who today said that Israel will not withdraw from Lebanon, Syria, or Gaza. And this is despite that Gaza is the plan, I mean, the peace plan for Gaza was brokered, yes, by Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey, and the United States, and was spearheaded by U.S. President Donald Trump, plan for Gaza.
Yes.
Syria, and we all know about the relationship between the U.S. president and the Syrian president, and he has praised him many times. To the extent that he asked Netanyahu to learn from Mr. al-Shar how to deal with Hezbollah. And then we have Lebanon, where the Americans are hosting, yes, negotiations between the Lebanese government and the Israeli government. And you have Netanyahu Mr. Trump telling Netanyahu to stop knocking down buildings in Beirut every time a missile falls here or there. But yet you have Netanyahu, his defense minister, and his ministers day in and day out saying, no, we will not withdraw, we will not stop what we're doing, we will not withdraw from Syria, Lebanon, or Gaza. So we don't have a partner.
This is what the whole world realized when dealing with the peace negotiations before reaching the peace deal in Sharm el-Sheikh. That's why I believe the European Union is sending the special envoy directly to Egypt, these calls and negotiations, because they realize how serious the situation is. Dangerous and serious. They need to know who is dealing with whom, who is responsible for achieving what we agreed on inside Palestine and also on the part of Palestine, the part of Israel. Are they serious in achieving what they signed and what they agreed on? Actually, what is happening on the ground proves that they are not serious at all. What happened during
and they are saying it bluntly.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's filmed. What's happening is filmed, and the whole world is watching. That's why the whole world community is concerned.
There is a question that comes to mind here. So Mr. Trump tells the Israeli war crime suspect prime minister to stop hitting Lebanon, but he doesn't. You shouldn't do this in Gaza, but he does. You should not do this in Syria, but he says he will. Do we have a standoff between Mr. Trump and Netanyahu? That's one question. The other question is, can indeed Mr. Trump enforce what he wants, and will Netanyahu pay the price of challenging Mr. Trump and his orders? Or is this, an under-the-table agreement between the two men that I'm going to say this, but you're going to do whatever you want?
When it comes to the situation between the relation and situation between U.S. and Israel, we never disagree that there is complete agreement between the policies. But sometimes these situations appear between Mr. Trump and Mr. Netanyahu. You could consider it like something temporarily because of what's happening on the ground. Don't neglect and forget what is happening inside Israel, because the elections are so soon. Mr. Netanyahu needs to prove that he is the one who has the support from the inside. And inside U.S. also the situation is not that good at all. Everyone is questioning the president about the necessity, why the Iran war happened in the first place. If we reach a peace deal with the same situation even before the war, worse than before the war.
So Netanyahu needs to keep wars ongoing, and Trump
winning to
but Mr. Trump needs to cool things down, or else his Republicans face potential defeat.
Yes, according to what's happened inside each state. Mr. Trump needs to de-escalate the situation, because he needs to prove the world he is achieving the peace everywhere, and Mr. Trump needs the situation to be escalated, to still have the warrior, the image of the prime minister winning on the ground and winning in Palestine and winning in Lebanon and Syria and everywhere.
So there is a conflict of interest here.
This is the whole situation.
Yeah, and they both admitted it. I mean, the two men have admitted that they don't see eye to eye all the time. Naturally, there are differences, but the question here is, will Mr. Trump be able to enforce his will, or will Netanyahu be able to challenge Mr. Trump without paying the price?
I believe if Mr. Trump is seriously and willing to do this, he can do it. Because he is able to affect, to play a role in the Israeli policy somehow. But if he is truly willing to do this, I believe he's able.
Okay.
Not to enforce, but at least to convince and to change the situation somehow.
So how do you see the upcoming weeks and months for the just Palestinian cause, and how will it be affected by the success or God forbid the failure of the American-Iranian talks?
No one hopes for the worst, but it is expected. The peace deal that is achieved between U.S. and Iran is so fragile.
It's an MOU, it's a memorandum of
whatever,
understanding.
it is too fragile because it is signed in two different places, and many issues are not digitally, and many issues are not included, especially the nuclear issue, the Iranian and nuclear issue.
The Iranians say that, but the Americans say it is.
And so contradicting news coming
they contradict each other on nuclear, on Hormuz, on Lebanon.
That's why we hope that the situation doesn't deteriorate to worse than this, because it is affecting the whole region and affecting our economy and the whole world economy. But it is fragile. No one can decide exactly what's going to happen, but we expect everything.
Yeah, we should be expecting anything.
Ready.
And it's hard to predict, but but many analysts do think that they've both had enough. The Americans and the Iranians.
And the world had enough.
Yeah, and the world has had enough. Everybody, with the exception of Israel, has had enough.
Because they are feeding their existence by having these wars.
Yeah. So finally, how do you see the just Palestinian cause moving forward again in the upcoming period and the short period ahead of us?
Truly, I'm optimistic because the European Union is pushing hard towards achieving the exact conditions they reached in the peace deal. I believe he's going to not to allow the situation to deteriorate worse than this, because the situation also inside many of the European Union has completely changed towards the Palestinian cause. I believe Egypt is playing the diplomatic role in a very effective and smart way. We are all the time keeping the issue on the table. Even during the war, the U.S.-Iranian war, the issue was there. We had these visits by President al-Sisi and the calls and movements of Mr. Badr Abdelati. We hope the Palestinian case remains at the heart of the whole Arab world and in the Egyptian conscience as well.
It will, forever. Thank you very much, Dr. Asmaa zieny, as always, for your time and for being with us here and for your insight. And Dr. Asmaa is a senior fellow at the Global Peace Institute in the United Kingdom. Thank you, Dr. Asmaa. I hope to see you soon.
Always pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you for watching us, ladies and gentlemen. Please do stay with Nile TV. In less than 10 minutes, we'll be back with a look at the latest news happening here at home, across the region and the globe. Goodbye.